Hey everybody, I'm here with Bjorn Isheden from Stockholm, Sweden, and Surfy Industries. How are you, Bjorn?
Yeah, I'm fine. And you?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. It's really a pleasure to get to know the guy behind Surfy Industries. You want to tell me about how it all started for you?
Well, I think the story about surf industries it started back in 2014, I think, and that was when I visited the Surfer Joe Festival in Italy, and Lorenzo Valdambrini, he's the big organizer for this festival, and it's a great place if you like surf music. Very international, people from all over the world is coming there, and there I got the chance to talk with Lorenzo, and we're talking a lot about reverbs and things like that. And at the time I had designed a small kit, a reverb kit for a solid state version of the Fender 6G15, and it got quite a lot of attention at the Surf Guitar 101 forum, and especially surf people who really likes this Fender 6G15 sound. They tend to like this kit very much, and it's a much more affordable way to get a good reverb, and it sounds very similar to the original.
Awesome. So you started off as a kit. Now these I want to say reverb fanatics are, what did they do? Like, did they buy the kit and then put it together themselves, or build housing for it, or how did they do that?
Yes, exactly. It's basically a circuit board and some wires and potentiometers, and the customer had a chance to build it into any enclosure that they had. So they used many different kinds of enclosures, and it's a lot of fun to see what people come up with, toolboxes and things like that.
You must have some great pictures.
Yeah, I have some.
So why did you, like, I'm assuming you didn't just start with reverb. You've been toying around with making things and pedals yourself for a long time. Tell me a little bit about how you got into that.
Yeah, well, a long time ago, I used to work with electronics at Swedish Telecom, and but at the same time, I was playing in bands, back in the 80s and so on, and so that's the time when I started to build some pedals, and later on, when I got into surf music, then the reverbs was the main thing to build. And finding a Fender 6G15 here in Sweden, it's almost impossible. So it was very interesting to try to build one myself here.
So now that being nearly impossible to find one, on a more like wide scale internationally, did you see a need for reverb, because they the tanks were discontinued early in the 2000s, right?
Yeah, soon after we have created this kit, we got the message that Fender discontinued the 6G15. Yes.
So did you see that as an opportunity to help the surf music community?
Yeah, absolutely. And if it wasn't for the people at Surf Guitar 101 forum, I think it would never have been a start like this. It's a lot of fun talking with these people, and they are so interested in reverbs and have a lot of ideas and suggestions, and so it's great to have these people to get in contact with and discuss with. So
it was very much a community effort.
yes, absolutely. And also at at the Surfer Joe festival. We have what the name of it? We have kind of a meeting, and we showed a lot of different kinds of reverbs, and we presented this kit for people back in 2014. So it was a great place to meet all the people and discuss what kind of sound they were looking for, and so yeah, it's a lot of.
So, just for our viewers out there who may not know the history of Surfy Bear, you were the inventor of the Surfy Bear sound, correct?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you can say so.
So I've spoken to Ted about you many times, and he said what a great guy you are. You are constantly working on new sounds, and recently you've really like hunkered down. I hear there's some new things coming, but I know I'm not allowed to talk about it. But tell me about some of your other pedals and how you got the idea for those, such as the Trim, the Vibe, Cherry Blossom, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, me and Lorenzo, we are very much into the vintage sound from back in the 60s. So my way to really learn more about this was to look into the schematics of all the old stuff, the Showman amplifier and the reverbs of different kinds, and the Magnatone amplifier. And it's not rocket science, but it's not totally easy to make a pedal out of it.
Yeah.
So it's usually takes a lot of time to find the best way of making a pedal of the same schematic. So I try to keep as close as possible to the original. So usually we just replace the tubes with transistors. It's JFET transistors for the low power signals, and for driving the reverb pan, we use MOSFET transistors. And it's a Class A amplifier, so it's very similar to the original. And yeah, it's a lot of fun to go through these old schematics and try to find ways to recreate the same circuit with modern components.
Yeah, there's as you're probably well aware, there are some people that are just diehard pedal fans. They like to collect them. They like to get a different, configuration, to get different tones.
Yeah.
How does one get the schematics for something like that? Because I would imagine the company kind of holds that near and dear.
I think these old amplifiers from back in the 60s, they are the schematics for those are not difficult to find. It's there are no restrictions there, I think. So it's too long back in time.
Okay. So when you're listening for the sound that you want, do you do like a side-by-side comparison of the original and then try to emulate that, but put your own your own sound that you're hearing in your head towards that?
Yeah, if possible, I try to do an A/B test. I have the real equipment and my own equipment, and I try to make it as similar as possible. So that's the best way of doing it. But sometimes it's difficult finding a Magnatone amplifier here in Sweden. That's not easy. So yeah, I'm trying to do it at an A/B test whenever it's possible.
Yeah. Well, you must have amassed quite a collection in the years that you've been doing this. What are some of the most interesting pedals you've come across?
You mean apart from our own?
Or? Oh yes, yours is the most interesting, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know what I can say, but yeah, I have quite a lot of pedals, but nowadays I mostly use my own and the pedals we manufacture. So since we are looking for the vintage surf sound, there are not many pedals that you actually need. It's usually the tremolo and the reverb and a good amp. It's you don't need much more for a good surf sound.
Would you recommend the Showman, the Fender Showman, for that sound?
Yes, absolutely. It's I think that's the base of the classic surf sound. Dick Dale and all of those guys were using Showmans. It's a fat, very nice sound for playing surf music.
What would you say the difference is between the Showman and the Bandmaster?
Wow, I think they are very, very similar. I think it's basically the Showman is more powerful. So as far as I know, but I think Lorenzo, he's the guy that knows all the details about all these old amps. So, but that's what I know.
So, to get your sound in particular, you obviously use the pedals you created, but what kind of guitar works best with your surf tone?
Well, I think when I play myself here, I usually have the classic and sometimes tremolo, either the original, the blue one, this one, and we also have the new stereo version of it. But I think it's the tremolo is very nice. It's a very, very natural way of the natural tone of the tremolo. So especially this the harmonic tremolo mode, the brown face tremolo. That's I like that one very much.
Awesome. So, are you still playing in your band?
No, not anymore. I know.
What?
I have some backing tracks that I play to, and so.
So, what was your band called?
Oh, back in the Stone Age at the 80s. Yeah, I was in a band called Animal Grotesque.
Ah, nice.
But that was far from surf music, more like rock and roll.
Yeah. Now, I've seen many channels talking about doing demos of the Surfy Bear metal or the classic, and it's not just surf music, which I'm sure was the inspiration for you, but were you happy to see that multiple genres found a use for your units?
Absolutely. It's actually a big surprise that so many people that are not at all into surf music, they still like the sound and the tone of these older type of sounds, like the vintage tone. So I think it's a lot of fun to hear people talk about this and how they can use it for totally different kinds of music.
Awesome. The most recent version of this that I wanted to ask you a question about was the studio rack mount, and how similar that is to the classic and the metal, and how did you come up with an idea that would work well within a studio?
Well, I think it was when we visited the NAMM the first time. A lot of people came to us and were talking about recording guitars, and we were thinking that it seems like a lot of people would like to have a good spring reverb in their studios, and you can use the metal or even the classic in the recording situation, but it's not optimal for that kind of use. And for a studio, you would like to have line level or even XLR connections
for better
so,
signal.
Yeah, balanced, yes. And so that was the basic idea. And after that, it took a long time discussing with Ted and Lorenzo about what features we would like to have in a unit like this. And we didn't want it to be too expensive either. So that's why we only have one reverb pan inside. Try to keep the cost down a little bit, but still you can have this very nice stereo sound. I don't know. Have you seen it? Have you read about the features of this?
A little bit. I've talked to people about it mostly.
Yeah, it got a few special features, and one of them is that there is a pseudo stereo circuit, which actually it works in the same way as they created stereo sounds back in the 60s. It's a notch filters that create differences between the right and left channel, and it do this in a very nice way that if you mix it back into mono, you get exactly the same sound back again. And if you create stereo effect in other ways with delays or things like that, you can have very strange side effects if you mix it back into mono.
Yeah.
So this is a very nice way of getting a stereo reverb sound. And it also got this decay circuit. It's similar to the decay circuit that we are using for the compact. But in the studio unit, we also have a threshold control that makes it possible to set the exact threshold where you want the gate for the reverb to open. And so it's you can get much better control of the sound with the studio.
Oh, excellent! And you said that has a pan in it?
Yes. It's actually the same pan as we are using for the classic and for the metal. It's actually a special pan that we have ordered from Accutronics. It's maybe you heard of the surfer pan.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a little, the specification of this pan is a little bit different compared to the standard pan that you can buy from Accutronics. So we were looking for a more vintage sound. So it's a little bit different compared to the standard.
Awesome. So you were in discussions with Lorenzo 2014-ish. How did and I also know you have somebody in Australia distributing. How did you all of you guys come together and say, okay, we can really make this happen?
Well, I think I'm very fortunate to have Lorenzo and Ted and Lindsay to work with, because it would have been totally impossible for me to do this myself. You really need good people to work with, and I think these people are the best. We are all into surf music and have similar ideas about what we want to do. So it's very, very easy to work with together.
How much a part of the company, the distribution, the sales, how much of that are you a part of? Are you just the builder, the creator?
Well, I'm building new stuff, and but I also manage the manufacturing. In the beginning, I also did most of the manufacturing here myself, but nowadays we are doing quite a lot of stuff, so it's no longer possible for me to assemble these things myself. So so we have found suppliers and manufacturers that we work with. So and also I work with support for the users if they have questions or if they have some kind of problem and things like that. So it's very different from day to day what I do here.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much, Bjorn, for your time. I've been looking forward to this for quite some time now, and I really appreciate you talking to me. And for everybody watching, the link in the description to Surfy Industries, where you can find out about Bjorn's wonderful creations, and surfyindustries.com in the link in the description. Excuse me. Also, Pie Records merch and a bunch of surf music resources. Thank you so much, Bjorn. It was really a pleasure to hear you speak so eloquently on this stuff.
Thank you for having me here. It was a lot of fun speaking with you.
Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.